Coming up on OC News, a Cal State Fullerton math professor faces a hearing this week because he didn't use a $180 textbook written by his chair of the department. He chose a cheaper book. We're officially in the future, according to Marty McFly, and a Cal State Fullerton teacher is disciplined for violating policies.
Also, we have the latest Halloween costumes with Gian Moss and much more here on OC News.
And I'm Michelle Andrews, and today we're going to be discussing how the weather isn't cooling off just yet, so don't pull out your scarves. Coming here on OC News.
The World Series is shaping up. And as the Royals pounce on the Blue Jays and the New York Mets demoralize the Cubs, taking a 3-2 series lead. OC News starts right now.
Welcome to OC News. I'm Miranda Gutierrez.
And I'm Lupita Contreras. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton.
A Cal State Fullerton math professor is facing a disciplinary hearing this week. It's all because he refused to use a required book for his class. He says the book that was written by his former department chair was too expensive and better options were available for students. Here's Anthony Aliso with more.
The Orange County Register recently wrote an article featuring Professor Burgett, who is a math instructor here at Cal State Fullerton. In the article, Burgett is reprimanded for not using the curriculum set forth by the department. Burgett uses his own book, and in it he stated that he, quote, knew it would cause problems but felt dishonest trying to sell a book I didn't believe in. The replacement Burgett uses has examples that the book the department set forth does not have and is cheaper for students to purchase. It'll be interesting to see what happens this Friday when Burgett challenges his grievance at a hearing. From Cal State Fullerton, I'm Anthony Alicio from OC News.
Just a few hours ago, armed robbers pulled off a heist at a jewelry store inside the Mission Viejo Mall. According to the Orange County Sheriff's deputies, the robbery was reported at 12:45 p.m. at the shops at Mission Viejo, and the armed robbers took off with an unknown amount of jewelry. The store that was broken into was Frederick Rubel Jewelers. Some people reported hearing shots fired, but it was likely that the sound breaking glass from the store. No shots were fired and injuries were not reported.
Local Southern California grocery store Fresh and Easy is closing down business until if someone decides to buy them. The stores are being liquidated and closed over the next few weeks. The company operates over 97 stores in 3 states, including California, Nevada, and Arizona. The first to go will be employees in the corporate office. The state has mandated a quote-unquote WARN Act layoff notice to about 3,000 employees. Back to the Future Day is finally here. Marty McFly from the trilogy was released in 1987, predicting today's day, October 21st, 2015. McFly takes a wild guess on what he should be seeing today in the future.
About 30 years.
Of all the wacky visions in the Back to the Future trilogy, perhaps none was more silly than the Chicago Cubs winning a World Series.
Wait a minute. Cubs win World Series.
Co-screenwriter Bob Gale came up with this absurd idea for the 1989 film and the lead character.
I'm thinking, okay, Marty McFly needs to be inspired as to how he could make a fortune by being in the future. He's a 17-year-old kid. What's he going to be thinking about? Well, he's not going to be thinking about the stock market. He's going to be thinking about sports.
And the Cubs still haven't won a championship since 1908. But jump in the DeLorean, time travel to now. The Chicago Cubs could advance to the World Series by beating the Mets.
What did you just say?
I said I wish I could go back to the beginning of the season. Put some money on the Cubbies.
Back to the present and the Puente Hills Mall. Twin Pines in the movie. James Raitt placed multiple bets on this season's Cubs winning the World Series, and he drove here from Arizona to take selfies with 2 movie props just put on display.
When I got an opportunity to see this and then go back and put a little money on the Cubbies like they do in the movie, it felt like a great chance to not only root for my team, but root for my movie.
You hang out in this mall long enough and more strange things happen. You are,
My name is Martin.
and you're from,
I'm from Sweden.
and for some reason you had to come all the way here to see this.
Absolutely.
What is it about this movie that gets you so excited?
For the first, I like film. And for second, I really like the DeLorean car.
So while Martin cares about cars, not Cubs, the screenwriter is definitely thinking about how the Cubs ousted his favorite team, the Cardinals, from the playoffs.
Quoting someone who wisely defined mixed emotions as watching your mother-in-law drive off the cliff in your brand new Mercedes. It's been fun. The idea that we made this absurd prediction 26 years ago, and it might actually come true.
Marty McFly got some things right. We have Emily Ornelas asking students what they might see 30 years from now.
It's October 21st, 2015, which means it's officially Back to the Future Day. If you don't know what that means, check out this clip right now.
How far are you going? About 30 years.
Of all the wacky visions in the Back to the Future trilogy, perhaps none was more silly than the Chicago Cubs winning a World Series.
Wait a minute. Cubs win World Series.
Clearly, the filmmakers of Back to the Future made some predictions about what they thought today would look like. They got some wrong, and they got some right. Let's see what Cal State Fullerton students think the future will look like 30 years from today.
30 years into the future, I think,
We'll be living on the moon,
for
for sure.
Yeah. I think gas is going to go up to like $10 a gallon. I think we're all going to be like, it's going to be World War III already.
Hopefully they'll finally make the flying cars.
I think that hoverboards are going to be all over campus and whatnot, and that we'll have accessible resources, like we don't have to use gas anymore and anything else. And I hope that there's like better advantages that we would have for like health-wise, so none of that processed stuff. They have like better things for that.
Maybe we'll run out of fossil fuels or something like that, and then everyone will be like on solar panels and like wind farms and like these little utopian communities.
Well, you heard it, Titans. We're definitely seeing hoverboards and hover cars in our future. This is Emily Ornelas for OC News. I'll see you in the future.
October is coming
To an end and fall is here. Let's see if the weather is ready to start acting like fall. Here's Michelle Andrews with this week's forecast.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the East Coast first of all. Well, actually, it shows my graphics want to show us our current temperature, so sorry about that. As you see, we're still in this really warm weather with this high of 81 degrees. We see a little bit of relief and we get cooler down here at night now with, 59 degrees, so we can expect to bundle up at night now finally and not have to worry about, sweating in the day and night. Let's go ahead and take a look at our week forecast. As you could see here on Thursday, we're still low 80s, high 70s. Kind of throughout the entire week, we're finding that whole middle 80 range, except on Saturday, where it spikes up to 91. So get ready for the beach or some swimming, something to keep you cool. As the night goes on, though, we're going to see a steady temperature of high 50s and low 60s. So let's just go ahead and see our forecast for our nation. The entire nation is still experiencing pretty warm weather. Over here in this region, we have lots of heat, so hopefully those people can stay nice and cool and find a way to avoid the heat. I suggest lots of water. And over here, it's not as hot, but we still see some pretty warm temperatures. The one relief that we are seeing is all the way in New York in this area where it is showing this blue color showing snow. So that's nice that they get to cool off. And back to you guys, thanks.
Thanks, Michelle. And still ahead, we have details on Khloe Kardashian and her decision to work at her marriage with Lamar Odom.
And also, Halloween is right around the corner. Do you plan to be a witch or a cat? We'll have some unusual and creative ideas.
Mini strokes are a warning sign of something more serious. We'll take a look at that condition in today's Health Minute.
The men's rugby team hopes to make a statement.
This study abroad program includes a 4-day trip to Rome.
Welcome to Cal State Fullerton Report.
As Titans, we stand tall, showing the way as a leading CSU and a top public university in the West. Titans support community, providing spaces for coming together that add depth to the human experience. Titans celebrate opportunity, holding high our achievement in making education accessible with tuition well below the national average. Titans welcome challenge, responding to the state's evolving workforce needs and driving economic development. Titans embrace diversity, knowing that our differing backgrounds and perspectives strengthen our students. Titans pursue innovation, creating a university that is an emerging national model for empowering students on their way to a degree. Titans reach higher.
Obama unveils new federal initiative to combat America's heroin crisis. More on the story is Esmeralda Cisneros in your latest health news. Esmeralda?
Thank you, Mariana. For those of you who didn't know, October is Prevention Month for drug use across the country. Annually, the White House and President addressed the issue and put it forward a national drug control strategy. They stated while many challenges remain, overall drug use in the United States has dropped substantially over the past 30 years. To build on this progress and support a public health approach to drug control outlined in the strategy, the Obama administration has committed over $10 billion to drug prevention programs and support for expanding access to drug treatment for people with substantial use or disorders. President Obama spoke on this issue about substantial abuse crisis event.
So this crisis is taking lives, it's destroying families, it's shattering communities all across the country. And that's the thing about substance abuse. It doesn't discriminate. It touches everybody, from celebrities to college students to soccer moms to inner city kids. White, black, Hispanic, young, old, rich, poor, urban, suburban, men and women.
In other news, one of the most scary and unpredictable conditions to many are mini strokes, or called by many as TIAs, better known as TIAs. Let's take a look at some signs and symptoms in our Health Minute.
TIAs, or transient ischemic attacks, happen when a blood clot or tight vessel cuts off blood flow to the brain for a short time. TIAs only last a few minutes, but they're a red flag for future stroke.
About 10% of patients who had TIAs will have a real stroke within 90 days.
Signs and symptoms of TIAs are sudden and the same as those of stroke. Numbness or weakness on one side of the body, confusion or trouble speaking, trouble with vision, dizziness or loss of balance, or severe headache with no known cause.
It's extremely important to take these signs seriously, even though they've resolved and you're maybe back to your baseline. It's extremely, extremely important to take this seriously and seek medical attention as soon as possible.
Depending on the underlying issue, treatment for TIAs can range from lifestyle changes such as stopping smoking, eating a heart-healthy diet, and exercising, to medications that prevent clots or lower cholesterol, or, as in John Peterson's case, surgery.
That technique was able to resolve a number of the symptoms and prevent a major catastrophic stroke from happening.
In Boston, Massachusetts, I'm Linda Champa for CNN.
As our very own forecaster Michelle Andrews mentioned with our crazy Orange County weather, if you're experiencing any dizziness or loss of vision, please consult a physician or doctor for further information on these TIAs. This is your Health Minute. I'm Esmeralda Cisneros. Back to you, Mariana and Lupita.
Thank you, Esmeralda. And we actually have a student on campus asking students what their Halloween look will be for next Saturday. So let's check it out.
Halloween 10 days away, students are putting the final touches on their costumes. Let's find out what Cal State Fullerton students are dressing up as this year.
I'm going to be Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy. I'm going to be a penguin, just a life-size penguin. Got my penguin suit and everything with the beak, and it's got a kind of cute little red bow tie and everything. I rocked it last year. I think we're going 2 years in a row.
I was thinking that I could be a Snapchat filter, paint a rainbow barf thing on my face. But then again, That's kind of difficult because painting on my face is hard.
I'm gonna dress up as Obama.
Obama.
I even bought the mask, the suit. I have face paint and everything. I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
I will be Princess Leia from Star Wars.
Okay.
And because my kids, one of them is going to be Darth Vader and the other will be Luke Skywalker. And Dad will be Darth Maul.
Go-Go from Kill Bill, probably that, like the Asian schoolgirl sort of thing with like the.
Yeah.
So I have to get my materials, but I'll probably do that.
Might be Batman.
Decided to go with the cute mermaid, red hair, the tail and all.
Like Ariel?
Like Ariel.
There you have it. Everything from Batman to the Snapchat rainbow filter is going to be out there this Halloween. I'm Serene Getler for OC News. Back to you guys.
Jeanne Moss has the details on how to get creative with your Halloween costume.
And on the other hand, we have the Hollywood buzz. And with you, now we see some more Halloween costumes.
You can pick up props ranging from snakes to wings to hearts. But if your heart belongs to topical costumes...
Well, look at it. Isn't it great?
It is good. So how many
got-
did you order? Loki?
I got about 48. Trump is outselling Hillary. I've had Hillary for a while. Hillary's old news.
And this is what the media have been calling sexy Donald Trump for the ladies. Yandy.com sells lingerie, but branched out to Halloween costumes. And when this happened,
the internet blew up over this video of a rat carrying a whole slice of pizza.
They introduced the pizza rat costume with rat ears, tail, and pepperoni pizza pockets. Yandy's #1 best-selling costume is the blue-black versus white-gold dress called What is the Color? Even the animal rights group PETA is selling costumes.
This is CSUF Alliance. As you can see, he's getting revenge on Dr. Palmer.
PETA says it's a tongue-in-cheek way to provoke discussion of trophy hunting.
And be the talk of the party.
Price, $140. The lion's share goes to fund PETA's causes. But who needs a new costume when you've already dressed your baby up as the Pope? And gotten his blessing? Other do-it-yourself ideas for babies? Movie popcorn or spaghetti and meatballs. And if you happen to be pregnant, turn your baby bump into the perfect pearl or the magic 8-ball. But Halloween mainstays tend to be mundane.
The bread and butter are vampires. Everybody wants to be a vampire, and everybody wants to be a zombie.
What's a kid want to be? Disney's barfing gnome.
There's a straw in the inside of it that you blow on it and it unravels. You can't get any better than rainbow barf.
Though there are those who would probably argue that people who dress up for Halloween...
they're losers.
Jeannie Mo, CNN, New York.
And for all the Star Wars fanatics, the time has finally come for the movie you have all been waiting for. Here's Michelle Vargas with some more.
Right, the time is almost here. The Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, does not make it to the box office until December 17th, but its pre-sale events already set a new record for box office sales like never before. According to Fandango, it sold 8 times more tickets than the last anticipated blockbuster, The Hunger Games. This Star Wars sequel follows after what we thought would be the last film of the trilogy, Return of the Jedi. On the other end of Hollywood news, it is official. There will not be a divorce between Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian. The file was pulled by Khloe's lawyer from the court system after the two decided to give it a second chance. As far as Lamar's state goes, we know he is hospitalized in Los Angeles and remains stable. That will do for today's entertainment buzz. I am Michelle Vargas. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks, Michelle. And still ahead on OC News, the sports predictions from Back to the Future just may be coming true with the Cubs. But we will have all the latest in sports, including the Royals on the verge of clinching the AL crown.
It's what powers our journey to reach unimaginable heights. It fosters a sense of yearning to create, explore, and soar. It strengthens our will to climb to the top. It's the bedrock of our conviction that nothing's impossible. It transforms us and sets us free to thrive and build lives of purpose. Titan pride is at the heart of who we are.
And baseball is slowly coming to an end. We have the remaining 4 teams, and here's Jeffrey Barner with the updates.
October's almost over, and that means the World Series is right around the corner. In the American League, the Royals and the Blue Jays are battling out to see who can win a pennant and hopefully get a chance to win a championship. Game 4, and the Royals have a 2-1 lead over the Blue Jays and are looking to create space. At the top of the first, Zorbas cranks one into center field for a 2-run homer, immediately putting a stamp on what this game would become. Now we go to the top of the second, and Alex Rios drives one straight towards the wall and over it. The Royals would go up 4-0, demoralizing the fans. Now to the top of the ninth, and the lead's already pretty bad when it's 12-2, and it's Escobar. And he slaps one into right field, sending the runners off and putting the Royals up 14-2. They now have a 3-1 series lead and look to seal the deal on Wednesday in Toronto. Now, 2 weeks ago, ESPN called the Cubs America's team. And after they beat their rival St. Louis Cardinals, Cubs fans started to think maybe the Cubs, maybe they can do it. Maybe they can win a World Series. But the momentum has come to an end ever since they ran into the New York Mets in their phenomenal pitching and hitting. Now, the Mets have a 2-0 series lead and tied at 1 at the top of the third. Murphy singles into deep center field to give the Mets a 2-1 lead. Now crunch time, going to the 7th inning, and Cespedes ropes one into left field, but Schwarber can't handle the ball, and the fumble costs him as a runner scores, putting the Mets up 4-2 and making the game out of reach. The Mets won 5-2 and now have a commanding 3-0 lead on the Cubs. It's looking like it's going to be Mets-Royals for the World Series, but it's sports and anything can happen. Back to you, Mariana.
Join us on social media. We'd love to hear your comments. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all under the handle of OC News CSUF.
And that's going to do it for us tonight. Be sure to stay tuned next Monday and Wednesday live here at 5 p.m.
We'll see you next week. Bye.